Okay, so yes, there is a SNAP would be Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and then we are SNAP Ed. So we are the education for people receiving SNAP benefits. So basically, what we are doing is trying to teach those who may not have the education through home or through the school how to live a healthy life. So it's not just the nutrition, it's also the exercise and the mental, so you get the brain breaks. And we're also trying to provide something that the kids are looking forward to going to school for. Like right now, I am dressed in my work attire. I went on Temu and I probably bought about 20 or 25 of these fruit shirts, and this is how I dress every day I'm going into a school. And this is how the kids all know me. And the funniest thing is I didn't plan for it. I was working with a Judy Center, so those children are between 0 and 4 years old. And as a 6'1" male with a deep voice, I was intimidating, dressed normally. When you come in dressed like a watermelon, you're not intimidating anymore. So my approach was a little different. I like to approach it for the fun first, get them to trust me, like me, and then I'm gonna teach you. But with kids, I always feel like I have to get that trust and that kind of friendship first before they're really gonna listen. So we were allowed to work with 1 year old to the end of elementary school as far as going into the classrooms. And this is all grant restricted. It's not University of Maryland or SNAP specifically, it's just the grant. So we were allowed to help support middle school programs, but we were not allowed to go in and teach. So Maneri's Dream runs the after-school programs, and we were able to provide them with an after-school cooking curriculum that I was told the kids loved to compete on who could make the best salsa, who could make the best smoothie. And I was able to provide them with everything but the food. So they were able to just then have to buy the food, and then that gave the kids a productive activity to do after school. SNAP Ed, we are in most states, and we're under a USDA grant. And in Maryland, SNAP Ed falls under University of Maryland Extension. Because the University of Maryland received land grants, that's why we are falling under them. The land grant is just something that the government did a long time ago, and it was giving colleges land with the agreement that they would then deliver education out to the public. It is a federal program, but so the Department of Health Services is our Maryland supervisor, and then the USDA would be above them. So we receive our money up front for the year. So October 1st of 2024, we received our funds for fiscal year 25 because we're on a federal fiscal year, so that's September 30th is the last day of that. So therefore, when the big beautiful bill was signed into law, that is when they were able to eliminate future funding. So they couldn't take away the money that has already been given out, but they could say no more will be given out. I can only speak for Kent County. I don't know how the other counties in Maryland, their budget looked, but I'm not gonna say exact numbers, but I would say we had enough money probably for another few months we could have operated for, but we all every county has to be on the same page, so we're all ending. From when I was a personal trainer, I lost touch with how much need was present in Kent County. And when I started this job, it really opened my eyes, and now I can't leave. I just can't do it without trying. So I've decided that I'm going to start my own program. So, and that's SnapEd is a program. It's not its own nonprofit. So we have to be housed under a nonprofit, and that's what I'm going to be. And the reason for that is more time. If I wanted to start my own nonprofit, I would have to get my own board. I would have to wait months for the government to say, here's your tax exempt nonprofit status. If I'm a program, I just have to be accepted. So unfortunately, I've reached out locally. I haven't had any luck with anyone accepting me to go under them locally. So I reached out to Rosemary with the local management board, and she recommended that I would call Chesapeake Charities and Midshore Foundation, because they're national nonprofits that I could go under and operate my program. So that's, and I just learned all this yesterday. So that's the next thing for me to do.
So what would you do?
So I'm, as long as the name, I have not double checked to make sure this name is somebody has not already acquired, but as long as it's available, I'm going to be Mango, which will be mentoring agricultural, nutrition, and garden outreach. So the difference between what I was able to do with SnapEd and what I hope to be able to do with Mango, with SnapEd, I was not only able to work with the schools, but I was also able to work with farmers and farmers markets to try to get them to be able to accept SNAP benefits, because we are actually now the only county that does not have a SNAP farmers market. Our farmers market can no longer accept SNAP, and we're the only one in the entire state. So with the food pantries, I was working closely with the Millington Food Pantry with Faye Everett. She runs one of the best I've ever seen. She is amazing. I cannot say enough positive things about Faye. And then I was also helping out at the Seventh-day Adventist Food Pantry right here in Chestertown. And the cool thing that I was able to do there was we would do bundling taste testing. So my partner and I, my partner in SnapEd is Joanne, and we would go into the food pantry and see what they had a lot of. So might be fish one week and beans, or fish and rice. And we would figure out a recipe with whatever they had, and we would cook it up. And then while they were running their food pantry, we would have tastings. And if the person liked it, we would give them the recipe, and then they would go to a different area and get all the ingredients so they could make it at home.
So with Mango, would you be approaching the same school entities?
So now,
as a plan.
Yes, schools is going to be my number one priority, and that's just because right now it'll only be me, and there's so many hours in the day, and youth they have a lot of years left. So I like to educate when they're young, and you're going to see hopefully changes. The more years of habits, the harder it is to change. Yes, the number one thing that I want to say to everyone under 50 years old, we need volunteers in Kent County. Every time I go to a food pantry or an event that has volunteers are getting older and older, and there's not anyone younger going behind. And when you're talking about getting a shipment from the Maryland Food Bank, sometimes this comes in 50-pound boxes, and you have 70 and 80-year-old women doing this work. And I'm gone. I was there to save their back, because I would tell them, don't lift it. I'm here.